All right. Hello, baby.
Hi, everybody.
Did you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Aaron Stewart, and I'm Dan Stewart's last remaining bloodline son of the Stewarts.
The heir.
Yeah, there's no more Stewarts left.
No.
Only virtues.
Only virtues.
Right? Virtue out of it.
So, I had so much I wanted to say about this man that created us, and also like inspired and tortured and traumatized. But I was thinking about it today, and I was like, you know, there's just a lot of trauma in this world, and I would say he's like mediocre trauma. You know, he wasn't an extreme amount of trauma, maybe because we didn't see him enough, but he wasn't a low amount of trauma. There was definitely a substantial amount of trauma.
It was the right amount of trauma that you had.
But I do wish I could say to him, you know, that I appreciate all the things that he did, and no human beings really seem to truly have it all planned out because everything's evolving. There's no true real answer to what is the best way to handle things, and everyone's struggling in their own right. And I believe that he was struggling and was too proud to ever ask for any advice or any type of insight, and he tried to stay as strong as he could be for whatever reason. And he instilled that in me and Nick. I think the difference between me and Nikki and my dad is that we at least communicate it, and we actually work those things out and share that experience with the people around us. But he was a guy who cared deeply about his friends. You know, this is a guy that he wasn't always the best to his direct family, but everyone around him was you know, blessed with his friendship. And it sucks that if he had gone earlier, he probably wouldn't have left so much destruction, and he would have left on a positive note. But he definitely suffered his last years, and I wish he hadn't. I wish he could be with us here right now, but I think our service is awesome to be able to come up here with everybody. And I think it's great, the four of us getting together and having this experience. He would have loved it. He would have loved to just be a fly on the wall. He would have loved to hear about it, you know, and he's definitely a big part of all this because it's difficult for us to get this all to happen. And today's such a beautiful day. I mean, this is probably as prettiest as it'll ever be at time of the year, you know, over here, you know, and it's just so massive from where we're at. You know, we can see other states, you know, it's just so wild. And I appreciate, you know, the world. My dad did give me that spark about life.
What was the craziest thing that happened to you with your dad?
You know, there's a list of crazy things.
Craziest.
You
always, when you think of dad, that one pops up in your head.
Well,
off the bat.
it was, so there's this line of crazy, you know. I think one of my favorite things that he did that was a little crazy, but it caught me off guard, is we were just having a good time, and he was driving around in his vehicle, his little, you know, two-wheel drive, almost like, I can't think of the name, but really just small, not that sporty car, Eagle Talon. And he takes it off into this like construction area and just starts doing freaking 360s, pulling the e-brake. Never did he do this before in my life. Never did he do it afterwards in my life. But that was one of the most funnest things besides, you know, like, I mean, he took us to a water slide that was naturally carved out, and he kind of ruined it by undressing and dressing, you know, getting naked in public.
Wasn't the water slide around
I'm like,
here?
can you stop trying to show people your body, you know?
Yeah.
And that of course was just another place where my dad put me in a situation where I was almost killed by the water. Water kills. And it was crazy because Nikki, my only concern while I was dying was whether or not Nikki was gonna be dying. I was like, just taking on water. And all I can think about is, what about Nikki? You know? But she was so light that she just floated. And that was probably one of the craziest times, you know? Because it was if I hadn't grabbed that ledge, I would have perished, you know? But this is a man that would like throw whatever at me and expect me to just figure it out. He's like, Aaron, we're going to the border of Canada, and I don't have your passports. You got to schmooze over the Canadian government. I know you're only 10, but you got the gift of the gab, son. Handle it. You know, so now I'm already doing like illegal border manipulation. But I'm glad we all can make it up here, and I'm glad that this weather was perfect, and I'm glad we were able to make this such a positive experience. And I love you, Dad, you know. Thanks.